In today's video, we are going to Fort Nelson, which is in Portchester. And on the way is Fareham, where my lovely wife works. So I thought I would treat her to a nice lunch at Three Joe's. It's a bit of a surprise, she doesn't know I'm here. I've just told her to meet me. And I will guess what she wants for lunch, I reckon. I'll see if she wants what I choose. Okay, so I've gone for the sausage and chicken. And I thought Charlie might like a barbecue. We'll see if I got the right choice. She's coming, she's coming. Here's my little worker.
Hi.
You been busy?
Yeah, I'm really busy.
What have you been doing today?
Conference.
Conference. So really, she hasn't been busy.
Well, I have.
I've
been doing all my paperwork while I was on conference, watching the conference and doing all my paperwork.
You sure?
Yes. I've not stopped this morning.
She hasn't been busy.
They did send me a goodie bag of snacks in though, so I've been munching on snacks.
It's a hard life. It's a hard life. So my plan today is to go to Fort, is it Fort or Port Nelson?
Fort Nelson.
Fort Nelson, down in Portchester, which I don't think is too far away.
It's under 2 miles, I think. It's really close.
Yeah, and I think it is...
There's a museum, an art gallery, and they've got lots of I think they've got some from when the Turks invaded. And
oh really?
Like that.
So hopefully, because I know nothing about Fort Nelson, so hopefully it will be educational for me. Charlie can watch back and learn maybe.
Yeah.
What would be quite good, and I don't know if they'll let me, but it'll be quite cool if they let me get my drone up. We'll see. I don't know. I may have to ask permission for that one though.
And if the weather holds off.
And yes, it's the weather's not great.
I noticed you've got your thicker jumper on, so it must
I've got
today.
my woolly jumper on. It looks like I've got a dead sheep inside. Hopefully I chose the right lunch for you. Homemade lemonade, have a little sip. That's for you.
Very nice.
And because every video needs a cider, I've got a cider. It is a Sanford's Orchard Supreme Cider Devon Red. 4.5%, hang on. It's quite nice. Do you want to try some? Have a little sip. You're not going to get told off for one sip. You won't get drunk at work. It's quite sweet.
No.
I see you're already getting stuck in.
I haven't got much time. I've got to rush.
Okay, have I done okay with the choice? Barbecue, chicken, something. Lots of peppers on it.
Perfect.
And chicken and nduju. That's a type of sausage, isn't it?
Yeah.
With lots of mushrooms. And I love mushrooms. I love mushrooms. As you can see, I thought I'd go along the theme of Fort Nelson because I'm dressed as a pirate. I've got my pirate clothes on today. Hopefully that will enjoy that. We're going to tuck in. Oh, it's gassy. Right, you've got to get back to work.
I do.
We didn't eat all the pizza. That is going to be our dinner later on. Charlie's going to get back to work and I am going to get down to Fort Nelson.
And enjoy yourself.
I'll do my best. I have arrived at Fort Nelson. This was built in 1860 and it was to protect against the French invasion that never actually happened. But they've restored it back to its Victorian glory and we're going to go and explore. So as you already guessed, the French never reached our shores. So this is now used to hold the nation's artillery. And there's artillery from all different eras, it seems, from this huge beast, which fired these stone balls. And that was from, hang on, this was from the 1453 with the Ottoman Turks. Imagine that cannonball coming at you. Oh my God. We've got these cannons here. And then we've even got German over here. So there's cannons from all different eras that I'm going to go and explore. Now this cannon here is a bronze Saker. This is from the 1600s. Now, because it is bronze, it was very, very expensive to make. However, because it was bronze, it lasted so well. Now, the Saker is a name of a bird of prey, and they think it was named after a bird of prey because of the elegance of it. but also how deadly it was, and the noise this would have made when it was fired. It fired about 350 meters ish, and went on land and sea. That's what was so good about this. It was so versatile. It did take 6 men to control it though, but impressive. You wouldn't want to be staring down the barrel of this, would you? Check out this sleek cannon. And what I find interesting about this is that it's got a seat either side. So imagine being ready to fire this cannon and sitting right next to it. Now I think we all know what the noise of these cannons make, but imagine sitting in this seat ready for it to fire. Oh my God, what an experience that would have been. At the end of the 19th century, cannons were in trouble of being outranged by rifles that were now powerful, accurate, and quick firing. So the French won the race to get the true first quick firing cannon. And this was the 75mm Schneider Creusot. I think that's how you pronounce it, but here it is. Now what this allowed was less recoil. Every time you fired a cannon before, the recoil meant you had to reposition every time, which took a long time. These are heavy machinery. This can fire 8,000 meters. Imagine, you can't see it coming, but this is the first quick firing cannon that they had, and it was a French invention. 1918 rolled around, and I think we all know what happened around that time. But here came the invention of the howitzer. The howitzer was a little bit special because what it was able to create higher elevation, and they did that by pushing the pivot point backwards. But this was a deadly machine, and it could fire 4 to 5 rounds per minute. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. But it could fire, what, 6-ish miles? Around 6 miles. This was a seriously deadly machine in World War I. In World War II, the Germans created the propaganda machine, the renowned 88. This was a flak cannon. So when you see old footage of the black flak in the sky, this is what these were. It was feared by the enemy. It was adored by the Germans. This was a deadly machine. It could fire nearly 30,000 feet into the air, fired 15 rounds per minute, and there were thousands of these. There were thousands of them. The 8.8 centimeter flak 37 anti-aircraft gun. These shot down so many airplanes. And a quote, this is a quote from Tom Wingham, quoted by Mark Field, the air war and British bomber crews in World War II. You literally had to fly through a wall of flak. You were often getting chunks of metal come pinging into the aircraft, and sometimes you could smell the cordite. Oh man. It's not all about size. Not everything has to be huge. Now in 1941, the Japanese had the Type 94, perfect for jungle warfare, could fire around 10 rounds per minute. But it was nimble, it was easy to move, unlike these other huge beasts we've seen. Like I said, perfect for jungle warfare. The French had fast-moving ships, and the British knew they needed to defend Portsmouth Harbour from Napoleon's wrath. So they built these forts alongside Portsmouth to give perfect views, high up in the hills, ready to fire down. There are around 20 of these forts, looking over the English Channel, looking out for Napoleon's ships, all in aid to protect Portsmouth. And to think, the Napoleon invasion never actually happened, but all these guns were in position, ready to fire when the time was needed. As I've been walking around outside in the fort, you've got all of the cannons positioned facing towards the land. And that had me confused. I'm thinking, well, surely they need to have them facing the sea for when they see Nelson's fleets. And so I was a little bit confused. And bear in mind, I'm learning about this as I'm walking around and I'm telling you. So if I get anything slightly wrong, then please don't Please don't moan at me too much. But I spoke to a lovely lady, and I keep seeing her as I go around, and she's feeding me little bits of information. And the reason is because they weren't worried about Napoleon's fleets sailing straight into the docks, because there's a bit of a channel that they would have to go into, and at the time the British fleet was pretty good. What they were actually worried about was Nelson's fleets coming round the side, landing, and then coming round the back of Portsmouth and taking the docks that way. So that is why all of the cannons are facing out towards the land. And as you can tell, it's quite windy over here by the sea. We're at the top of this hill, and it's not a massively tall hill, but you get a really good vantage of looking down, and you can see from a good distance what's coming. So I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to show you the view from the fort looking over the land. So here we have the 68-pounder gun from the mid-19th century, and this is the view. Check out the view. So you can see all the way down, all across the land, you would be able to see the French from a good distance. And hopefully the British would have the advantage with these massive iron cannons. I absolutely love the quote they've got on the door here. Boom, 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 boom. And who said that? Private Baldrick from Blackadder Goes Forth. What a fantastic series that was, and what a great quote. I've come into one of the tunnels now, and there is just a chain of them. There are so many, and this was a way of getting soldiers in and out, but also a way of getting ammunition from outside to inside. But there are so many, it's just a maze of tunnels. I don't even know if I'm lost or not. And just think of the hustle and bustle if war started. I'm just even looking around, it's lighting passage. Just almost looks like there's bunkers in here to protect people if need be as well. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. A shifting lobby. The main concern in gunpowder stores is to avoid an accidental explosion and disaster to the fort. To reduce the risk of sparks, every man working in the powder magazine had first to change into special magazine overalls and soft magazine slippers. Any item that could cause a spark was banned. The men would change the first part of the lobby. Only when inspected deemed properly dressed would they be allowed to enter into the magazine. So this is where all the weapons and the ammunition was stored. In these big halls. In casts like this, if you can see, it's very dark. Oh, this is fascinating. Oh, little lamp room here. The shifting room. In 1871, this room was originally designed as a shifting room. All barrels of gunpowder entering the fort had been checked in the examining room, and then those found to be damaged, leaked or unsafe were moved to the shifting room so that gunpowder could be transferred into new barrels. Incredible. Let's keep going down the tunnels. So all around the fort there is a ditch. And if ever any enemy soldiers managed to get up to the walls, there was this cannon ready to fire. And if you can see the line of sight straight along the walls, imagine being right up against the wall here and a cannon looking directly at you. And these are positioned at all quarters. In this room here, there's one. There's two looking out there, There's some more over here, 3, 4. So there's 4 cannons here, all looking, here's another direction, look, all looking straight out. All looking straight out, ready to fire if the enemies ever manage to get close. Now obviously all around the fort there was artillery trying to aim and be accurate with fire. However, we're at the North Mortar Battery and there are 3 of these here, and these mortars, they weren't about being accurate, they were about firing up in the air and down onto the soldiers' heads and just causing sheer damage. It wasn't about being stupidly accurate like the artillery, like the cannons on the ramparts. This was about going up and down. And these mortars fired absolutely huge bombs, basically. The devastation that these things would have done. And they are, jump down, hang on. Look at it, it's not even very big. Look, it's a small thing, but the damage that these things could do, just, it's almost hard to believe and hard to comprehend these days, I think. History is just incredible. Let's keep going, see if there's anything else to find. I just want to end on this one. There was a character in the 60s called Gerard Bull, and he led a high altitude research program to propel satellites into space. And he wanted to go with a gun-based system rather than a rocket-based system. So, yeah, he created the supergun. This is part of it. Now, he tried this in Barbados and got in big trouble, imprisoned. But in 1988, he was a guest of Saddam Hussein in Baghdad. And Saddam Hussein thought, hey, this could really turn the tides of war. And he wanted to use this, and he code-named Project Babylon. But this gun would have been so long that it needed a mountain to support it. So here is a little recreation for you. It would go up alongside the mountain. And obviously when the Brits and everyone went into Iraq and they found these things, their answer was, no, it's just to supply gas and things like that. Well, clearly it wasn't, because it wasn't long enough to supply gas. This would have been a devastating weapon, but it never actually saw the light of day, luckily. But this is, imagine if it did. It's incredible to think that there would be a huge gun that ran alongside a mountain. You wouldn't be able to change direction, it would only be able to fire in one direction. So how it would have worked, we still don't know, but I think it's absolutely incredible. So we've gone from very, very old to very, very modern. I might have to get myself a hot drink and we'll get out of here. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed my visit here today. And once again, I've learned that there is so much so close to me. This is, what, half an hour down the road for me, and it's history on my doorstep. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. Charlie will probably be back in one of these vlogs very soon, I promise. I learned a lot today, I really did, and it was a really enjoyable trip, full of education. Thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to share my vlog to anyone that may be interested, please do that as well. And I will catch you next time. Well, that's a good hot chocolate.